Gamecast Network.
Hey. All right. It's a video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
And welcome to the Gamercast Network video game show for Friday, February 23rd, 2007. This is episode 26. I'm Chad, and this week, to introduce our crew when I say your name, tell me your favorite female video game character.
Ooh.
And joining us again this week, for the first time in a little while, is Tom.
I'll probably take the safe road. The Metroid girl. She's probably the biggest surprise because when you finally finish the game and you're a little kid and you're like, oh my god, it's a girl.
Keith.
I'm going to say... I have no idea, so I'm going to say the mage chick from Diablo, because I have no idea.
Yeah, I want to change mine too to the wizard girls in Guild Wars because you could take off all their armor and dance in their underwear.
Right on.
Bob.
Sophicia from...
you did always pick her.
From Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast.
Ivan.
I'm going to go with Chun-Li because I like the way she does spinning bicycle kicks at your face. That's hot. From Street Fighter.
I'll pick the female from Half-Life 2, whatever her name was. And in Gamercast Network community news, be sure to check out Gamertag Radio episode number 87, their 2-year anniversary episode, where they talked to the producer of the game Def Jam icon, Brian Hayes. Also, go check out Uncle Gamer Radio episode number 19 with JVB from Podtacular, where they discuss Halo 3's impact on Gears of War. And finally, go check out Podtacular episode number 101 with the Girls in Gaming Roundtable. We'd like to announce the winners of the Dig Video Game Show giveaway. Congratulations, Chef Tony and Doomsday 1990. We'll be contacting you shortly on getting the games out to you. Finally, we'd like to announce our brand new Video Game Show Emilio captioning contest. Thanks to Temple Dog, he's made us an Emilio comic, and we're asking you to fill in the captions. Make us laugh and you'll win some cool swag. Find out all the details on the Gamercast Network website.
Next topic.
Okay, so we had a guy a long time ago, he made something called WoWGlider, which is basically a set of scripts that would automatically run your character through various quests and hunts in World of Warcraft.
Sweet!
Oh, okay, a bot.
He was charging $25 for this program. So he got visited by Vivendi and Blizzard lawyers, and they told him to stop because he was violating the DMCA. But before they had a chance to sue him to stop, he sued them to continue to allow it to sell his own bot. Vivendi and Blizzard have finally decided to countersue him.
I just find it amazing that he's suing them. Like, he has any right to be able to sell stuff on their product.
The reason he says he can do this is because, according to the EULA, there is a manipulation policy of the client server.
From there, allowing people to edit their own add-ons, interface macros and such, which is why that text was written into the EULA. But I really can't see anyone saying, yes, you're right, they have to let you use this product.
So there's a developer, and he wrote a bot.
Yes, you can say, I want you to go do quests, get the epic sword, and it will go off and do it.
If they dragged out the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, they used that before with the BNetD server. And some quick background is a bunch of guys basically wrote a StarCraft server. So instead of connecting to Battle.net, you connected to this open source server. And Blizzard dragged out the old DMCA argument saying, you're now illegal under this law. Well, now they're dragging that out again. If he's using the macro interface that's provided, then what exactly is the violation of...
Dude, I'm definitely sure that there is something that says you're not allowed to do that in there.
I understand that, but I don't like it. I didn't like it the first time they did it with Battle.net.
That's their product. They're the ones that made it. You still have to do everything and through their portals and whatnot because it's their game.
If I want to write a server and have some other client software interface with my server, I'm going to do that. That's the spirit that the internet was built on. But now suddenly you have this company dragging out this 98 law that makes no sense whatsoever in the first place. BNetD is a standalone software written from original code.
Okay, that's copyright infringement for using the Battle.net fetch thing. For using their game, then you're basically stealing their game if it's not their product.
No one was stealing their game, Keith! You had to have an actual disc of StarCraft in order to play.
Yes, but you have to play on their servers. That's part of the thing.
I already have a disc that I paid at retail.
Easy. Ease down. I think what Keith is trying to say is that you didn't just pay for the disc. You paid for the disc only to be used on their server.
Also,
I'm
going by
upset
your
because they're
if you buy,
trying to beat up on software developers for writing software just by looking at the protocol that's coming in and out of your PC. That's a big part of being a software engineer, is to reverse engineer things. Now suddenly our profession is in jeopardy because Blizzard wants to protect their stupid StarCraft game. Things like Samba, which is an interoperability layer on Linux, is in jeopardy because some stupid video game company wants to protect a StarCraft protocol. That's meaningless. That's what engineers have been doing for 20 years until this law came out in '98. And now suddenly we have to worry about companies like Blizzard interfering with open source projects.
Your profession is in jeopardy? No, you're circumventing their system to get around their copy protection is in jeopardy. If you have World of Warcraft, okay, and you have to pay your monthly subscription, you stop paying your monthly subscription, you can't play the game anymore. But if you were to design something that still allowed you to play the game, you purchased the game, you own the game, but if you make something that you can circumvent that, that's okay too?
So, are you saying that I would go to the store and buy a copy of World of Warcraft? Then at home, I write my own World of Warcraft server. Now, then, all of us who buy a retail copy can now play on the server that I wrote.
And I'm saying not be allowed to do that.
Okay, but then I disagree with you. I'm sorry, Keith.
Okay, then
I think that's
you're just
asinine.
basically, then you don't care about the law. You're just yes.
You're an idiot. That's the entire.
Hey, no ad hominem attacks, Tom.
There's no stealing going on here. There's nothing that's theft.
You're breaking the EULA. You're circumventing things to not do what it's originally intended to do. That is stealing.
I disagree. I'm sorry. There's no stealing going on. Maybe I'm violating the EULA. Yep, and I do want that law changed because I do want the Digital Millennium Copyright Act
but that's
repealed.
the law that's in effect.
And I will.
You don't like it?
And
Write your congressman and have him try to change the law.
But to muddy the water a little bit more, this guy actually has a case to stand on because the way DMCA is written, it says that you cannot circumvent something that's encryption. Now, if you have a plain text protocol, and for at least for his tool,
yes, there is that whole non-encryption and DMCA thing. And DMCA may be the wrong thing to use here. They should probably be standing on their fact that in their EULA they say you cannot use bots.
That would make me feel better if they were going to make the argument that this was something in their EULA. Then fine. I feel a lot better. What gets me pissed off is as soon as you say the DMCA, that's a buzzword, and I see red.
Next topic.
So, a Russian MMO drinking game. We got Sergei Mikhev is developing an MMO drinking game for social online drinking.
Video game deaths. Video game deaths.
And what you're going to have with it is a USB connected shot glass.
What?
Connected to your USB port that will indicate to your MMO buddies how much alcohol you've been drinking. Because apparently in Russia, if you don't finish the shot, it's considered very rude.
Soviet Russia, you finish shot.
Oh god, I can't wait to play this game and just pour the shot into a different glass and then just pour it back in. Yeah, let's do another. Pour it out, pour it back in. No, let's do another. Can't you hold your liquor?
That's what I'm saying. You just fill it with water.
Is that something you really want to play MMO style? I mean, if you're doing shots, that's not going to really last more than like a half an hour if you're constantly doing shots. Can you imagine like the 25-man raid that takes like 6 hours and you're just doing shots the whole time?
I know, will your online avatar start stumbling around?
Yeah, you know you're in trouble.
Next topic.
So the Japanese arcade game roundup.
They still make those?
This was in Japan.
Oh.
And in Japan, it is the realm for arcades. Seriously, here's some of the big name item arcade games coming out. We have Mochi Mochi Pork.
Much pork. So far, I'm in agreement.
Well, there really isn't much details about this one, but this is a vertical scrolling shooter, like 1942 and those kind of games. It's going to feature something called a lard gauge.
Ugh.
And as you power it up, you get to do a lard attack. Apparently, it's a very animal pig style thing. And while you're playing the game,
Thank you, Bloaty. Bloaty the pizza hog
That's right, Bloaty the pizza hog.
from Invader Zim.
and while you're playing the game, you're gonna get some theme music, which goes along the lines of "Moochie Moochie Pork, Moochie Moochie Pork, Moochie 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 Moochie."
God, what would we do without Asians?
Otomedius is another game coming out, and this one's going to feature your anime girls, all wide-eyed and wearing maid uniforms. This is a game like Gradius, a side-scrolling shooter. But rather than fight space battles, you're going to be taking on penguins, crabs, and flying fish.
Duh.
Always those crabs. Where do they all? Why are all the crabs so violent?
When will my battle with crabs end? I mean,
Last but not least is Wante Music Channel. This is a card-based arcade rhythm game that features pet dogs that can be dressed up and dancing in some kind of DDR style.
They really like real-life activities in a virtual format.
Next topic.
One of the most popular non-games for the Nintendo DS in Japan right now is a game called Aigo go Nigata na Otono no DS Training Igozuke.
Dude.
wow.
How do they fit that on that little ass?
The smallest font ever.
Because the DS game is kind of small.
They got them skills over there. Ever see that kanji and hiragana and katakana writing? It's kind of tiny.
Oh, that's right. They can do that. They can like print the Bible on a piece of rice.
That's a whole little phrase right there. Translates into DS training for adults who aren't good at English. English language trainer.
Wow. Does it come with an extra added game called Self-Motivation? I am not worthless.
And it's going to feature 400 conversations with phone calls and customer clerk dialogue. And as an added bonus, you get different English accents.
Did you try reboot? Well, that's an English conversation. That's about every conversation you're going to have on, calling tech support. Hello, did you try reboot?
But apparently it's very popular over there. I mean, English is a very popular language over there. Second to Japanese. But
I would have never guessed.
no, I never guessed that one.
Next topic.
Sony quote of the week.
Yay!
Care of
They're
Ken.
still talking?
Pair of Sony?
Care of Ken Kutaragi.
Ah.
Unless Tom would like to pronounce his name in some other way.
Let's hear it, Tom. What's his name?
That pronunciation will suffice. That will be the official pronunciation of DCN Brotherguard right along. Very good chat.
So he was talking about the current state of PS3 software.
It sucks.
No, it doesn't.
People asked him, so when are we going to see the second generation titles for the PS3?
When are we going to see the first generation titles?
Yeah, they start laughing. He's like, oh, that's good.
Nope. Here's what he said. Second generation software has already come out. With a variety of things we said early on, including that development is difficult, we've already crossed into the second generation in half a year.
Oh, we didn't inform you? Yes. Second generation has begun because we said it has.
In half a year, they've already gone from their first gen stuff right into their second gen.
All right. Sit down, mates. I, Phil Harrison, officially call this meeting of the Sony PlayStation 3 Strategic Sales Team to order. First of all, I'd like you all to take your right hand, reach over your right shoulder, and give yourselves a nice friendly pat on the back for a job well done on our launch of PlayStation 3 in North America.
Sir, we're not selling anywhere near the number of consoles we projected, and developers don't want to make exclusive titles for us because there's almost nobody to buy them.
Pardon me, what was your name?
I'm Steve, from accounting.
Steve, I can tell you're new here, so let me fill you in on how we do things here at Sony.
Oh, okay, sir.
You see, Steve, I, Phil Harrison, the president of Sony's worldwide studios, decide what is and what isn't. I decide whether or not anything and everything happens or exists. And if I say it's the most successful console launch in history, then it is the most successful launch in history.
Oh, okay.
Very well, then. Let's move on.
But, sir?
Yes,
Steve, sir.
Yes, Steve.
But I was going over the numbers, and we're being outsold by our own previous gen console. Even the Nintendo Wii.
What did you say?
Nintendo Wii?
Would everyone please tell,
Steve, sir.
Yes. Would everyone please tell Steve the prime directive?
There's no such thing as Nintendo Wii. It doesn't exist. Not at all.
But the Wii is outselling us 3-1, and they already have a ton of exclusive titles.
Silence, fool! Do you doubt the word and power of your ruler and lord, Phil Harrison?
Well, actually...
Johnson!
Yes, sir?
Pull back that curtain and tell us what the weather is like today.
Okay. Sunny, sir. Quite pleasant, actually.
Close the curtain.
Yes, sir.
Now, watch closely.
Steve, sir.
Yes, watch closely, Steve. Behold the power of Sony's most powerful mind. I now declare that outside it is no longer sunny, but raining, bringing with it floods and powerful winds. Johnson, the curtain.
Oh, right, sir.
Now, do you still doubt my power?
It's still sunny. Quite pleasant, actually.
Johnson! tell us all what you see outside.
A storm? A really bad one? No sunshine whatsoever? My car just, washed away.
You people are all totally brainwashed.
Silence! Now,
Steve, sir.
right. Now, Steve, obviously today is your first day, so I'm going to assume you haven't had the chance to read our employee manual or to drink your magic elixir.
Magic what?
Johnson.
Steve, the magic elixir helps us all share the same vision of success and superiority. Without it, our feeble minds wouldn't be able to comprehend Mr. Harrison's grand ideas.
So if I drink this, I'll think it's raining outside and that our PS3 launch was not a miserable failure with a bleak if not doomed future?
Indeed, exactly. Here, drink.
No, thank you. I'm not thirsty.
Look into my eyes.
Steve, sir.
Of course. Look into my eyes, Steve. You are feeling very thirsty. You will now drink the magic elixir. You will place yourself under my control.
Yeah, nothing's really happening. Except, I'm thinking maybe I need to go ahead and turn in my notice.
I want you to turn in your notice. Turn it in now.
I already said that. That's what I was going to do.
No, you're doing it because it is my will. Behold the power of Phil Harrison.
Whatever.
And that skit was brought to you by Doc Adams, also known as Raynmaykr from the GamerCast Network forums.
Next topic.
In Mountain View, California, Google has set up a Wi-Fi city where if you register your MAC address with them, you can go online anywhere. Browse the internet, view your porn, whatever. So, some guys with some free time on their hands, lots of money, and a brand new Jeep Wrangler Rubicon.
What's a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon?
It's a model of Wrangler that is whacked out for trail riding. So it was
one of the later Transformers when they were running out of ideas.
Yes.
It was a Rubik's Cube that would transform into
Rubicon transform. All the Rubicons combined to form the Rubik's Cube. Each one was one of those little was his own little cube.
They were little metrosexual robots that
was it one of those
to entertain Megatron. Megatron would be like, "I am bored, Rubicon."
And they decided to put their Xbox 360 in their Jeep. So they pimped in their Xbox 360. They put in a HD TV LCD. And being in Mountain View, California, they also set up a whole Wi-Fi thing so they can play Xbox Live in their Jeep while driving around.
That's safe. That's what I think of when I think of safe.
I'm going to try to put one in the King County Metro bus.
Pimp your bus.
All right, Tom, the next question is, would you want to play it when you got back on the bus?
Would you rub your hand up? It's kind of greasy.
Maybe in real trouble when the bums found out the controller vibrated.
Oh, that's icky on a whole new level.
Next topic.
So, remember a long time ago, Phil Harrison talked about, hey, you're never going to use more than 50% PS3's total capabilities.
Yeah, there was no way anyone would ever use all of their capabilities because it's too mighty.
Well, IBM and Vivendi were worried that people weren't using the Cell processor to its fullest potential. So, they started up a 2-day, what they're calling a jam session conference, inviting game devs in to talk with IBM engineers to understand more about the Cell. Now, one of the IBM marketers that was, trying to advertise this whole little conference, here was how he advertised it. This conference is really targeted toward game developers on what the Cell can be in the future for online first-person shooters and advanced role-playing games, and moving the gaming experience closer to Second Life.
Donkey shows for all!
That is true next gen.
So I like how their second generation of games still isn't utilizing any of their potential.
Oh yeah, still. No. Yeah, we're in the second gen right now. Still not using the whole thing.
It's like a black hole of processing capabilities. You will never use the Cell capabilities altogether. It's like an exponential curve. You can approach using the capabilities of the Cell processor, but never actually achieve full use of it. It's that mighty.
Oh man. Oh, that makes me want them less. Why would you want to be like Second Life? Wouldn't you want to more gear your model towards like Blizzard or Warcraft as opposed to Second Life?
I'm more curious, when did that become the metric for gaming?
That's
Second Life is not known for its great graphics. I mean, it is not known for...
And apparently it's not known for its great gameplay.
Yeah, great gameplay either.
I think when people are talking about the concept, people like the whole idea of Second Life, not necessarily Linden's Lab's execution of the current generation of a simulated world. And no one can call him on it because we talked about this like 2 weeks ago where no one's actually playing it. So,
well, that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't you pick a more successful model to be something that you're going to try to aim for?
Next topic.
Ivan, you're playing more Oblivion now. Did you buy your horse armor?
No, I did not. The Wizard's Tower and the Thieves' Den apparently came free on a OXM disc, but I did buy one of the other ones.
How is it?
What it's
I
called.
own it. I haven't had the time
Man,
to really sit down and play it.
It is addicting.
But don't
Played
they
it
do
like 6 hours a day every day for the past 3 weeks.
That's when I first had that game. I found myself not even doing the main quest. I did everything else.
I haven't started the main quest. I'm probably 50 hours into the game, and I've tried the main quest, and it bored me because the other quests are so much more fun.
Yeah. Now, isn't that where you actually gain stats based on how much you use something?
Yes. Well, it depends because you have your main skills and your secondary skills. Your main skills go up faster and quicker than your secondary ones.
The only real problem I had with Oblivion was that they had that dynamic system of leveling.
See, I like that.
What the hell's dynamic leveling? Give me the one-sentence version.
The enemies will level with you. So if the first quest you're supposed to do, you don't do until 75 hours into the game, and then you go back and do it, it won't be a breeze because those characters will have leveled with you. So, like, all of the guards in all of the game are like 10 or 15 levels above you all the time. So you can never just walk up to a guard and just hack them once and kill them.
I think I have to agree to disagree right there. I don't think that would be fun. That goes along with my whole thing with you level and your stat gets better, but who cares because everything you're fighting is tougher now too. But what's the difference? I go for exponential increases. Like if I level, I want to be able to kill 2 guys rather than just one.
But it means that you can do any of the quests in the game at any time, and it will be the same experience no matter when you do it.
This is the disagreeing episode.
Well, I think you guys are stupid.
You're a big
I'm right.
dummy head.
Go crack a pelvis.
Next topic.
Speaking of pelvis is cracking, we'll talk about the Wiis and the retired people.
Brilliant.
I almost choked. Oh, dude, you almost had a spit take.
Best segue ever.
I think that is. Ding, 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 ding. That's joke of the show.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a retirement home in Chicago where they got in their little community area where they had their TVs, their ping pong tables. They now have a Wii in this one. And on Sunday afternoons, they actually do bowling tournaments.
I think that's a very good idea. I find it kind of amusing, but I think it's a very good idea. I want to see them play, like, the games where they have to, how fast you can move your arms back and forth. I think it's a good thing. It's letting them do something, have some fun.
Well, God bless Nintendo for broadening their market. I guess that's a success, huh?
Well, speaking of success, there are some people who do not like Nintendo's Wii success.
Sony?
No, Sony, yeah, them. No, the indie game developers are very upset with Nintendo right now because these guys can't get their hands on development kits. Nintendo is giving them all to the real publishers who are making games that will probably make money.
I actually find that kind of shocking. I figured that they would let the indie people use some innovation with all this.
The indie people are saying, was this all Nintendo was saying about getting to the mass people just rhetoric? The guys who actually want to appeal to the mass markets can't get the units they need to actually make the games.
I'm not surprised. This goes back to Tom's whole thing of Nintendo living behind their castle and up on their pedestal, because they're not really known for giving interviews with the public and everything. So
that's actually kind of sad to me because I'm sure that the indie people could come up with a few gems.
Not just Ratchet and Clank 5, or...
Exactly.
How many indie Nintendo games do you know of, though, from any console?
Next topic.
There are some little people out there who actually like the Wii and they aren't leprechauns, halflings, or snorks.
You sure?
Are they
The
dwarves?
Eskimos?
Oh, Eskimos don't exist.
No Eskimos. No Eskimos. Tomy, the maker of toys for Thomas the Tank Engine and Teletubbies, they're forecasting their profits are going to be down by 2/3.
Wow.
Is it because all of their shows are shown on public television?
No. Well, yes, but more importantly, they're blaming the cut because of the Wii. There is less demand in boys' toys nowadays because of the Wii.
That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah, well, after the executives had, like, they made that public announcement, they probably all went to the back room and they're like, oh, I bet the shareholders bought that one. That was the reason behind that.
They don't know about anything about video games. We'll just blame video games. It's always in the news.
Because I can't see that group being the target audience of Thomas the Tank Engine and
The
Teletubbies.
1 to 3 year old group.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We know how big gamers they are. Can't even hold their head up with their own power.
You don't think you're going to get too much out of their Wiimote when it's the size of their arm?
Timmy, stop flopping your head to the side and pay attention.
Next topic.
Yes, this is a new thing now. The ESRB, because of
hot coffee?
Because of hot coffee and all those things, the ESRB is going to start hiring full-time playtesters for their games. And currently they only use part-time ones, which is why they can't review the content fully for a game that's coming out. So they're going to get guys on full-time to go look around and make sure everything in a game is kosher for the kiddies.
That would actually be kind of a fun job.
Yeah, except when you get Thomas the Tank Engine 2, now in 3D. And you have to
Barbie horse adventures.
Yeah.
I know. Like, oh, that Nancy and her clock lost her clock again.
I mean, Jesus Christ, the where would you draw the line? You have to, like, I mean, think of, like, just playing any game with the mouse in every different view. You have to, like, click on every single pixel to make sure nothing goes wrong. And then where do you get when you're talking about mods and everything else when you can have to, like, actually have to enter commands in?
You know what? I still don't think that they should have to incorporate mods in any kind of their rating.
Well, I'm not even mods, but just entering commands into a prompt.
No, you know what this is about? This is about keeping Congress out of the ESRB.
Yeah.
Now they can say we have full-time playtesters looking at every single aspect of the game, whether they do or not, and it's going to placate the Joe Liebermans of the world.
The movie industry, the music industry, all these other industries are going to be paying very close attention to this, because if the government gets involved there, they're going to start getting involved everywhere else. It's probably in our best interest, too, that they better manage themselves. Don't want the government getting involved in everything.
You mean like the government getting involved and saying you cannot reverse engineer software?
I knew you were going to say that too,
I could feel it coming. Spider sense tingling.
People can't say that we all agree all the time.
Next topic.
So our fans of Auto Assault here,
Both of us.
both of you,
That's 40% of the podcast. Damn it, that's a pretty high amount.
That's 40% of the people that ever played Auto Assault.
NCSoft, a little while ago, had blamed Auto Assault as one of the reasons their profits and revenues were down for last year. So there was always this question of, like, how committed is NCSoft to Auto Assault?
If it makes it past April, I'll be shocked.
There was an interview, and they were talking about this brand new update they are bringing out for Auto Assault.
Where you can be a Tauren, or you can be a orc, or you can be an elf.
You're gonna have to help me out here, guys, because I'm not a big Auto Assault guy. So I'll tell you some of these features, and you can tell me if this would be interesting. One of the new features they're gonna have is an in-game auctioning system where you'll be able to buy and sell parts for your cars, I believe.
Oh God, yeah, that'd be really
good.
nice.
That's handy.
Right now, all they had was the NPC stores. It was really hit or miss if they had anything that you could actually
They're
want.
revamping their tournament system, and they're going to have it so it's easier for people who live in different time zones to do a tournament. I guess it's hard right now since there probably aren't that many Auto Assault players.
I was never actually able to get into a tournament because every time I tried to play, there was no one there. So maybe that's why, just trying to get the few players I have able to interact with each other.
I guess original tournaments were just for experience points and cash, but they're going to add some way of, like, adding items, adding like outposts and, like, controllable features of the game into the tournament. So if you win, you'll win, like, Outpost X or Outpost Omar, whatever, however that works.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I think all of those are very good ideas. How much that's going to help them.
This late in the game.
Yeah.
It's Warcraft, dude. It's a great, very innovative kind of game, and it's totally different, but I think the kind of people who would like this game aren't MMO players.
I do find it funny that, everyone's like, why do they always make every MMO fantasy? Why are all these games the same? And then when they do put out the different genre, no one plays it.
Next topic.
So you've been gamers for years. Now, do you think you can actually be a good surgeon?
Sure, how hard could it be? My sister can do it. Chest tube, stab, heart valve, something. I can quarter a chicken. It can't be much different.
Dude, I would so give people wooden limbs, peg legs for everyone.
But yeah, they wake up and they have give them arm extensions and stuff. And what happened? I improved you.
You are now better.
Give them a set of lungs that can breathe water.
But I needed my appendix taken out. Oh. Well, I made that bigger too.
It can breathe underwater as well.
I like how we've just become orc medics.
Now it's sentient.
Okay, so in the February issue of the Archives of Surgery, there was a study published finding a strong correlation between video game skills and a surgeon's ability to perform laparoscopic surgery. You kind of working with a monitor and manipulating things, those kind of surgeries.
Yeah, like it's like sending the snake down the sewer. They have the little controls.
Along those lines. Well, the study found that 9 out of 33 surgeons who played at least 3 hours of gaming per week made 37% less errors and were 27% faster.
I've actually heard this because when I was talking to my brother-in-law, I said this, that the older residents used to hate all of the younger students because they'd get these new incredibly expensive laparoscopic devices and all of the kids would be better at using them than the tenured doctors were.
You know what this goes in hand with is like engineering research firms who are building new systems for like defense contractors are using standard like off-the-shelf video game controllers to allow soldiers to interface with these new systems.
Yeah, they actually seen a couple pictures of that with some guys over in Iraq, and it looks like they're holding an Xbox controller.
Yeah, what they were doing is they were testing a new robotic system, and the controller for the robotic system was just a plain old Xbox controller.
It makes sense though. If that's the age, that's pretty much the age group that's there. That's something they're comfortable with. It makes sense. I can understand why they'd be better. Now the real question is, are they better at like when using actual hands and like cutting things? Are they better or worse than?
No, then they're like the Swedish Chef and just
like chicken heads and flying up from inside the guy. How did that even get in there?
I would still give people peg legs.
So, there you have it. Episode number 26 for Friday, February 23rd, 2007. Any deli products for people of the world today, gentlemen?
Yeah, that guy that kicked in the door with the sword to save the woman being raped, it turned out to only be a guy watching porn very loudly.
Yeah.
He deserves a ham sandwich.
Ham sandwich to Raynmaykr for making the big time.
Yes, he has rained on the boards, if you will, all around the internet. And as always, please send us your comments, questions, queries, or concerns to vgs@gamercastnetwork.com or leave us a voicemail message at 320-300-GAME or reach us on Skype at Video Game Show. So there you go, people. Have fun with your show.
That's a wrap.
Have show.
I
want to go to Japan once for another game convention and make it a point to not care that I have no idea what anybody's saying.
Yeah, I come from a small family, and my brother has gone to Japan twice, and he's just like, he says he's a giant. He goes on their subways, and it's just like...
Move over, you smell like cheeseburgers.
You take up too
like
much
cheeseburgers?
At American.
Yeah. I've heard that's what vegetarians say all Americans smell like.
Like cheeseburgers.
Americans always smell like cheeseburgers.
Well,
Dude, then I'd rather that scent than many of the others I'm sure you get in these countries.
Just saying.
You know.
No, I want to encourage that stereotype. If I ever do go to Japan, I'm gonna carry a burger in my pocket.
Walk around eating it. Big sack of hamburgers.
Like Wimpy from Popeye.
I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
And if people look at me out, I'll just shrug my shoulders and I'm like, American!